This podcast may contain adult themes and triggering topics. Please be kind to yourself if you get triggered by what we discuss.
Also, this isn't a substitute for therapy or counseling. Please listen to the appendix at the end for some of our recommendations for resources that will help you find a qualified mental health care provider.
Now, we take you to a time in the near future where emotional abuse has been appropriately deemed a crime, and the survivors find a home to reclaim their lives and freedom. This is Haven, and these are the stories of the reclaimers.
Pheeny, can I join you? I didn't want to interrupt your reading time. I just thought we could talk.
Oh, it's okay. I figured you'd find me when I didn't answer your broadcast from earlier.
You say that like you didn't want to be found.
I kind of didn't earlier.
And now?
I knew I needed to say something. I just had sessions all morning, and I needed to be present for the survivors. And then after, well, I didn't want to be,
Sadly, I don't. You've had your very special Percy blocks up since yesterday.
Yeah, I knew I needed to talk to you. I just needed to think about everything until I felt like there was a point where I could talk to you. I'm still not sure I can.
Old friend, I'm listening. Whatever it is, I can hear it. Or we can wait until you've had some time.
No, it's okay. I think I feel hurt that you didn't tell me about the telepaths you met at the encampment. No, that's not it. I feel hurt because it seems like you've been hiding something important from me. The telepaths are one detail in a big story, and Truman didn't even know the difference. But I do. I know what happened then. At least I thought I did.
Pheeny, you know.
You have kept your secondary block up since that awful first week of grad school. I always thought it was about protecting yourself from Daniels. But yesterday, when you were talking with Truman, I heard something in your thoughts. Something that... Percy, are you certain you've done the right thing staying silent all these years? Not looking for a way to read him?
Pheeny, please don't take us back to this fight.
Percy, you were not the only one who was hurt by what Daniels did when you got back from the encampment. When he started smearing you to everyone in the department, it wasn't just your name and your reputation attached to those attacks.
I know, and I am still so sorry. I know what that cost you.
Don't be sorry. Let's find a way to fight him.
I can't do that, Pheeny.
What are you so afraid of?
Listen. Read me, okay? Read that I'm not afraid. Read that I just have information I can't share.
I am reading you. And yes, I get that message. The same old reason since grad school. But Percy, it's me. You know I can read more than most when it comes to you. Beyond old friends, I'm your advocate. I've seen you go through hell over this. You know what it's like to watch someone in pain like that. You, more than anyone else in my life, know how difficult it is to try and persuade someone to do something they need to do to help them heal. You also know that it's especially difficult when you care about that person, and you know how much I care about you. You have suffered so much, Percy, and I have never left your side, no matter the cost. I've earned a different level of trust, a level that deserves more consideration than old excuses, a level that deserves more information than you give other people.
I'm sorry, old friend. I do trust you, and I'm sorry I hurt you. I can feel that hurt, and it's guts on the floor. It hurts so much. Your brilliant, beautiful, Pheeny heart deserves so much better than that pain.
Thank you. I can feel that sincerity. It means a lot. Persephone, I don't want to take us back to that fight, but you just said a moment ago that you could hear me out. Is that still true?
Of course. You're right. I can hear it. I'm listening.
Something happened at that encampment that you're not telling me. We both know that. But for whatever reason, you can't tell me what it is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yes. Whatever it was, it broke you. And when you got back, his smear campaign hurt me. And the year after we left, his abusive march across that department hurt everyone there. And since then, from his horrible Senate campaign to how much negative press he brought against the Justice Reform Committee, and all the things he's done to try to undermine your every move with the Haven and the other reclamation centers, he's hurt so many people in those failed attempts. He is hurting so many people. Those one-off thoughts you try to hide from me, the ones about whether or not he has victims right now, Percy, we both know that cluster bees like him are never without supply. I bet his current victims don't even know they're victims.
Oh, God, Pheeny. I didn't know you heard those thoughts.
Yep, I do. Every single one. Percy, whatever this is that you're not telling me is keeping you from stopping him. And he needs to be stopped. He has to be stopped. People like him need to be reported so they can be stopped.
Yes, I know. I agree. From the tips of my receptors, I know that he's just going to keep going. And if there was a shred of a chance that anything I say could stop him. You said it yourself. I know what it's like to watch someone in pain. Yes, I'm a telepath, but my empathy is my guide. In all those sessions, I felt that overwhelming desire to just punch some abuser right in the face because I can feel the resulting agony they've caused that survivor. I know the devastation of seeing that survivor cling to an abuser. I know that my not telling you things looks just like that. That I'm just clinging to him, or that I'm afraid of him. But Pheeny, you have to believe me when I say I'm not keeping something from you that would actually take him down.
Okay, Percy. If that's what you need, we go at your pace.
Pheeny, you've earned the trust I place in you. I've earned the trust you place in me, haven't I? I've done the work. I wish I could tell you more. I'm not able to tell you any more than I already have.
I helped you write every single line of the consent directive. I know the rules are there for a reason, and I know you're devoted to the intent behind those rules. I know you are doing the best you can. And for what it's worth, I do believe you. It's never been a question of belief.
Thank you for that. I promise that the moment I can share, I'll share with you. I'm sorry for not sharing about the telepaths before now. I didn't think I'd ever get to a point where I could vocalize that, but Truman's distress was so overwhelming. I just needed to let him know he had someone in his corner.
Guess I know where I rank now.
I mean, Truman is pretty awesome. I think that's what I'm most sorry about. That this would make you doubt how much you mean to me. How much I want to keep you from distress. How grateful I am for you.
Percy, I get that. I do. And you know I would never ask you to sacrifice your needs for my comfort, right? Because you mean the world to me, too.
Oh, Pheeny.
I trust you, Percy. I do. That trust is just going to have to look a little different moving forward. I respect your need for this boundary. I'm going to need one of my own.
All right. That's more than fair. And I understand why. And I promise this isn't some kind of...
Persephone stubborn? Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. The old lobbying nickname Addie gave me. I haven't heard it in a while. Maybe I'll have some words with her.
Yes, and those words should be thank you. Because Persephone's stubborn outside of political lobbying is its own brand of fun.
Well then, thank you to you too. Persephone stubborn in what? Pheeny sweetness?
And proud of it. You okay?
Yeah. Just glad you're here. You?
Yes, thanks. We still on for dinner? Ashley made eclairs.
Yes. Hells yes, we'll be there. And not just for the eclairs. I'll leave you to your sacred library time. Pheeny, have a better day, okay?
I will. See you tonight. Rose, I'm so glad you chose to join me today.
You always say that like I'm not going to show up or something.
Or I say it like working with you is a privilege.
Yes, that, maybe.
I see you brought the intake book. What did you think of it?
Well, I read it all cover to cover. I just, like you said, I didn't expect to be that interested in all the information, but the chapters about those phases, those were really helpful.
Tell me about what helped.
Well, I'd never heard a lot about it, all about the love bomb, devalue, and discard stages, but I knew them.
You did?
I guess you could say I lived them.
That is really insightful, Rose.
Yeah, I just saw so much of my relationship in all three phases. It hurt. It hurt to have my relationship explained to me.
Now, as I always will, I want to check in. Are you okay if I use my empathy while we're together today?
Oh, yeah. Can I just sort of give you permission to do it always? I mean, I'm okay with it now. I finally know how advocates work. You can feel what I'm feeling, so it helps me get over stuff faster and all.
That's a great description for the process. However, feeling what you feel is a deeply vulnerable position. I don't take it lightly. I think it's important for me to ask for the first while because after what you've been through, you deserve to have every possible support.
I don't know what to say to that. You're always so sweet to me.
Is that okay? Being sweet?
The way you do it, it is.
But someone else being sweet might not be okay?
Well, not the way my abuser did it.
Interesting. How is it different?
Yours is respectful. His was sort of condescending, controlling even. I'm not sure how to describe it. I never saw him look at me with contempt when he was being sweet, but it didn't feel freeing.
So it felt confining?
Yes, I felt trapped. Whenever he tried to be nice or sweet, never free.
Rose, it's vital for your healing that we continue to figure out what frees you. Because a healthy relationship helps you feel free, truly free.
I see that now.
Back to a moment ago.
Oh, yes, you can do your advocate thing. I'm cool with it.
I like that. Cool with it. We were talking about how it hurt to have your relationship described to you.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, Rose. Is that what it felt like?
Yeah, that's the hurt.
Tell me more about it. Can you describe what causes the hurt?
Being deceived. My abuser lied to me about so many things, and reading now about those three phases just really drove home that he lied to me.
That hurt. It runs deep.
Yeah, it does.
I want to stay with this feeling. Is that okay?
It hurts a lot.
I know, Rose. It does hurt. Can we stay with it for a minute, though, while I ask you a couple of questions?
Okay, I read in the intake book that you put emphasis on feeling what you're feeling, so I get that, but this hurts. Like more than I think I can handle.
Take a deep breath, Rose.
That's a bit better.
Maybe give the hurt some acknowledgement. If we both acknowledge that it's there, that it feels overwhelming. Can you take some more deep breaths?
Boy, do you love taking breaths. And yes, the acknowledging helps a bit.
Okay, let's talk about the 3 phases again. There's the first phase, the love bomb phase.
Right, that's where he flattered me and sent me constant messages and called me all the time and came to my house and brought me flowers.
Tell me how it felt to be on the inside of all that flattery and attention.
I felt sort of hazy and goofy and happy. Much happier than I can ever remember being.
You're remembering that emotion right now. Oh, wow, that's some pretty powerful stuff there.
Yeah, he was really thorough. But now that I'm out and I've read the intake stuff, I feel like I should have seen all that stuff as a lie.
Now that's some deep regret you're feeling.
Yeah.
Tell me, if your daughter had been love bombed by your abuser the way you were, would you say she should have known it was a lie?
No, there's no way she could have known. Also, I totally see what you did there. Okay, I get it. See myself the way I see my daughter. You did that a few sessions ago, too.
Did it work?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Because I love my daughter.
It's a part of it. Another part of it is that when you can see the abuse outside your own experience, you're able to clearly see how deceptive and manipulative it really was. A little bit of detachment can help here, though I don't recommend it as an ongoing choice.
Why not? Detachment was how I got through the trial.
You were traumatized and stunned by his leaving you. You entered a state we call trauma mind. Trauma mind struggles to keep track of reality, so detachment just plays into that and makes it a bit worse.
Oh, yeah, I read about that in the intake book, too. People don't have executive functioning when they're traumatized. I want to tell you something else, but it's kind of hard to say.
Rose, this is your time and I'm here for you. Whatever it is, you're pretty ashamed of it, aren't you?
Yes, but this is well-worn shame. It keeps me quiet, but I'm really familiar with it.
If it would help to say it, I'm here. No judgment.
I liked the love bomb phase. No, that's not right. I craved the love bombing he did. I still do.
Oh, Rose, of course you do. And the shame you're feeling? That's completely normal.
It is?
He set it up this way. That's the purpose of love bombing and idealization. If he can get you used to a chemical shift in your brain, that hazy glow you mentioned earlier, he can use it against you.
How?
That's the devalue phase. Once he has you all glowing and happy and feeling great, he can start to sprinkle in times of distress and then require you to jump through hoops to get him back to the love bombing guy you knew in the beginning.
Oh my God, yeah, he did that. We'd been together only a few months when one day he just got mad for no reason and said he needed to end our relationship instead of continuing to hurt me.
Wow. Those words he used are so hurtful. I can feel all of the strangled pain you felt.
He walked out the door. Even when I called him, he said he couldn't imagine staying in the relationship after what I'd done.
What had you done?
I didn't know. I was trying so hard to figure it out and begging him to just tell me, and he kept getting more and more confusing and raging at me and yelling and telling me how horrible I was to him. At one point, he said I didn't even care that he'd been diagnosed with depression.
Did you care?
He hadn't even told me he'd been to see a doctor about it. It was all so confusing and hard to even talk about after the fact. Even now, I struggle to say what happened. I just made him mad somehow and had to beg and apologize over and over. He was so mad, and I didn't know why.
After you apologized, what happened?
He wouldn't accept it. He kept diving in and talking in circles about what a horrible partner I was to him, how I never supported him, how I was just toxic, and he needed to leave.
And did he leave?
Yes. He walked right out. It didn't matter. I couldn't convince him enough that I loved him. He just left. He just walked away. After 6 months of messaging and calling me all day, I was used to hearing from him all the time, but then there was this just silence. It was deafening. He just didn't call, and for 3 days he didn't answer my calls. He He didn't even acknowledge my existence.
Oh, Rose, that's one of your deepest wounds, isn't it? This devastated you.
It did. It did so much.
If you could go back to that moment and make him see, make him understand, what would you say?
That I just wanted to love him. That I wanted to be good for him, and that I wanted what we had in the beginning.
And he wouldn't understand that?
No. No, not at all.
So then he left. For 3 days. How did you deal with that time?
I tried to keep myself busy. I called friends or painted or played games on my phone. I don't know, just tried to stay distracted.
And at the end of those 3 days?
He walked through the door. I still remember my heart pounding so hard when I heard his key in the lock, and he was just standing there. And I just fell into his arms, and he held me while I cried.
So, he held you. Did he apologize?
Well, no, he didn't. I always sort of assumed that his coming back was the apology.
Interesting. If you'd done the same, disappeared for 72 hours after a big fight, would he have let your returning to him stand as the apology?
No, I mean, he probably would have been so mad at me I would have had to make it up to him in all sorts of ways.
Did you ever disappear?
No, never. I would never do that to someone.
Why?
Because it's so cruel.
It is. It is terribly cruel. In fact, the silent treatment is so cruel that it's been listed with the tactics of coercive control that are now illegal. Further, isolation and solitary confinement, which are both forms of the silent treatment, used to be deployed as part of torture scenarios to get terrorists to give up their secrets.
I had no idea.
And you wouldn't have any idea because you're far too kind to use tactics like that.
Wait, no. One time I asked him for a break.
Asking someone for a break isn't the silent treatment.
Why not?
Because you're communicating what you need. Did you give him a timeline of when you'd return?
Yeah, he knew I'd come back in 2 weeks.
And how did he know that?
Because I told him when I asked for the break.
Yes. Your guilt is so difficult to manage when you talk about that. Tell me how your asking for a break is different from his disappearing.
Oh, he never asked for the time apart. And he never said when he'd return. He just got mad and left. No explanation.
Right. He just left and returned whenever it suited him. It's a pattern of raising your anxiety. He's trying to get you to feel anxious by not communicating. It's an important part of a healthy relationship experience. Truly loving partners increase communication to decrease the anxiety. Now, circling back, how does this relate to the devalue phase?
Oh, my God. When he came back, he was love-bombish again. He was sweet and kind and smothered me with contact.
Interesting you'd use that word, smothered. I wonder, do you think love bombing can be used as a form of control or as a form of gaslighting?
Look at that. It totally can. Oh, I can see the cycle playing out now. He gets me set up to crave the love bombing and then does something that makes me realize the love bombing is all in his control. Then I have to apologize or just wait out his silent treatment before he'll do more love bombish stuff.
It's a chemical reaction in your brain called intermittent reinforcement, and predators like your abuser use it in a really calculated way.
It seems so clear now that you've laid it out like this, but I still feel like I did something wrong.
Yeah, I can feel that doubt too. Listen, I need to ask your permission for something else now, okay?
Yeah?
Well, I need to ask you to just stay with that clarity. Let the doubt be here too. We can allow the doubt.
Oh, hey, the intake book talked about that doubt. It's supposed to protect me.
That's amazing you remember that detail.
I felt sort of ashamed of that doubt. So, when the book said that it was a protection, I was curious about why it said that.
I want to answer your question with a question, but it all relates. Is that okay?
Sure.
So now that you know this about your abuser trying to chemically alter your brain, what do you think your brain is trying to do?
I guess it's trying to keep that good, glowy, hazy stuff going?
Right. So the doubt, how would the doubt help you do that?
Maybe if I doubt that I'm being abused, I can keep believing that the love bomb is possible.
Amazing, Rose. Look at you.
Yeah, I see it clearly. Oh, that makes sense.
So what do you think will be the best way to deal with that doubt when it shows up now?
Ignore it?
That's one way, for sure. And those chemicals in our brain, they tend to hold on. So one of the tricks we like to use here at the Haven is to choose gratitude for our own coping mechanisms. That doubt did the best it could for you, and it kept you as safe as it could.
I can do that.
I can feel that wave of tired. It's completely okay to go slow when you're processing things. It's not just the trauma, it's like you're in school too. In fact, that's one of the tools. One step is enough for now. Speaking of, what if we stop for now? Give you a rest.
That'd be great.
I'll keep your usual time, and as always, you can just reach out internally or broadcast what you're feeling if you need me.
Like you taught me during intake.
Yeah, like that. This is a tough process to do alone. If you reach out and I'm not available, Percy is here, and she can help you too, okay?
Okay. I think I'm going to go take a nap.
Good. I like that plan. But really quick,
Yeah?
I hope you know how impressive that was. And I hope you choose to see the great work you did through the lens of pride and achievement. You've earned it.
Topic change? Was that how you said to handle praise?
Yes, always.
Then yeah, let's talk about Caesar Romero or mashed potatoes.
Have a good nap, Rose.
Hey, it's Percy and Pheeny here. What you've just heard is a work of fiction, but we know that many listeners are living in a world of pain that isn't fictional at all.
At the end of every episode, we're going to include an appendix of sorts. Some things we hope will serve those who live with a reality of fear and pain every day.
First, we want to let you know about our website, www.empowering.tools, where we keep an ongoing list of books, websites, hotlines, and many other resources for victims and survivors of toxic relationships.
Second, we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to share your story with us or let us know how the episode impacted you, we'd love for you to reach out. These are deeply emotional things, and we want to give you a chance to share. We're a small team, so an in-depth response isn't always possible, but we do read every message we receive.
Third, if you're in crisis or you need to find an immediate way out, we recommend joinonelove.org. Simply text "Love Is" to 22522 to get an immediate response from a peer advocate, or call 800-799-7233 for the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. If your abuser is a parent or a non-romantic relationship, there are other resources we've listed on the website that are just for you.
A reminder, emotional violence is still violence. You don't need to have bruises on your body to deserve help, and it's okay to feel what you're feeling when you call.
Fourth, be safe. For some, getting out will take planning and time. If you know you need help, do what you need in order to safely get away.
Lastly, we know how difficult it can be to believe there's hope on the other side of a toxic relationship.
Many on our team know the devastatingly difficult steps it takes to get away from an abusive predator.
But there is hope. You don't have to do it alone. If you don't have supportive family or friends, you can still find support at the hotlines we mentioned earlier or at a local hospital or shelter.
Thousands of survivors have made it out. Getting out and reclaiming your freedom can be your story.
We believe in you.
We believe in your future.
And we believe in your right to that freedom.